in a conversation with some friends. One friend was telling me how a missionary had shared at a church, and she was saying, oh yeah, they just, did all that kind of missionary stuff, orphans and widows and all that kind of stuff. And an older lady commented, you know what missionaries do? They live their lives, and they wash their underwear just like you do. And everybody giggled, and I said, yeah, but it takes like 3 times as long. This sums up what missions means to me in one little story. Me, I was on the field for years before I actually called myself a missionary. Reading about Hudson Taylor, people who got on a ship and left and basically never came back. That was my idea of what a missionary was, and I didn't fit that picture, so I didn't call myself a missionary. They called me the intern that wouldn't leave here in Brazil. I called myself an English as a foreign language teacher. I was a single missionary for 10 years. I was living off of $350 a month or less. I was doing bare basics. Because of visa problems, I could only stay 6 months. So I would be in Brazil 6 months, basically spending money, and then go back to the US and save, and basically self-support myself. But there was a specific time that I needed, and I had a friend that sat me down and said, Rachel, why aren't you calling yourself a missionary? Like, it's fine, but why? Is it because you think you're not worth calling yourself a missionary, like that you don't deserve it? I also had a relative who came and visited me in Brazil. She said, you know what, I've visited a lot of places. I've seen a lot of missionary work, and what you're doing, it's valuable and it's worth it, and you're doing a really great job. And after that, I started making decisions and started putting together a budget and actually fundraising, calling myself a missionary. In me, it was like, I'm not good enough to be a missionary, but for other people, it's like missions, missionary, that's the word they used to do horrible, unspeakable things to my people. Language is all about different connections and our experiences and our feelings and our expectations that we connect to those words. When you call yourself a missionary, I feel like it's a commitment. I'm trying to take 15 years of experience and emotion and figuring out everything that I am, and here's this 7-year-old asking me these 2 huge questions. What is a missionary, and can I be one? And how do I put that into 7-year-old speak language? Yeah, missions is telling people about Jesus. It's sharing, you boil it down, and yes, go and tell people about Jesus. Of course you can. As I look into this amazing 7-year-old kid's eyes, be a missionary. Do it. Make a change. Yes, and there's that aspect of going, and but then there's also the aspect of sending, having people who are sending you and supporting you. There's the idea of stepping out of your comfort zone, not doing just what's normal inside your box. Most of the time, you think of someone who has gone for the specific purpose of telling someone about Jesus. Like, they do a lot of other things. They may do that through teaching, through preaching, with a spiritual focus, mostly being supported or partly supported from Christians and supporters back at their original home. If that's this day and time, if you look in the Bible, in Luke 10, studying those Bible passages, missions has looked differently and been done differently, and people have broken the mold, and God has been working in ways that honestly, we'll never know, because most of the people doing the work are not the ones writing the history books. And who knows what missions is going to look like in the future. Missions is morphing, just like technology and culture. It's something that doesn't stay the same, and so for us to think, oh, this is how it looks like in my head, and this is how it's always going to actually be, like, that doesn't work. One of the big things about being a missionary that's really difficult for me is the whole money aspect. Like, for sure, definitely. And how am I going to look into this 7-year-old kid's eyes and tell him honestly that a lot of times, a lot of the stuff that I do is dictated by if the money comes in or not. That's not what you want to tell this kid. So if we're going to be telling our children in church that they can be missionaries, let's be giving them opportunities to step outside their comfort zone, to talk to people who don't look like them, to have families over for dinner that are a different culture. Missions means to me answering why I'm a missionary. I found something good. I've got it good. This Jesus thing, I'm sold out. Like, this is the way. This is what's going on, and this is amazing, and I can't keep this to myself. That's why I'm a missionary. I want you to have this too. This is the good stuff. I'm a missionary because I've been invested in and trained and given the resources and education to be able to do things that a lot of people can't. And I do my job really well. The workers are few. I'm a missionary because there are people who need to receive different things, and there are people who need to give on both sides. And being a missionary, I feel like part of my job is connecting those people, the people who need to give and the people who need to receive. And it's so powerful. I'm a missionary because it makes me happy. It's my passion, it's my joy. I love Brazil. God gave me this love that I do not understand. Like, how do you love a country? I'm also missionary because I need to learn how to walk in grace and not in control. I'm a missionary because God has a goal for my life, and that goal is making me look like his son, Jesus Christ. And he knows what I need to do that, to have that sanctification process. And for me, what I need to do that is being a missionary. And God has me here because he's working in my life, and he's doing that in my life. And he is completing his mission in me. Growing up, I realized that my mission was to love other people, especially children, and especially at-risk children. When I came to Brazil, I did that through teaching English. And that was the practical way that I lived out loving people, especially children, and especially at-risk children. Then I became the coordinator of Living Stone. It completed my core mission completely, and I feel so blessed because that doesn't happen for everyone. When I got married, I had a shift in my core mission because my mission was to serve and to love my husband now as well. So it's like this shift, and then I became a mom. So now it's also these two beautiful girls that are my mission. As any mother will tell you, this is not a addition process. You know, it's not that here's my core mission and then I'm adding things on top and I'm just getting weighed down and boggled down. No, it's a multiplication. You don't have to say, oh my gosh, another child I have to love. Darn it. No, because your love and your life is somehow multiplied. It's an amazing miracle. This past 5 years has been like a stretching, amplifying, I would say, of my mission. Practically speaking, then what I do changes. I do a lot more dirty diapers. Yeah, that's part of my core mission now. A lot more dishes. Dishes are not only addition, it's also a multiplication. But so those are my core missions and what that looks like. In 2016, Kate and I realized that the part of our mission that was connecting different people and sharing what was going on here in Brazil in the US, that the best way, the fastest way, the easiest way, the most effective way to do that was through missionary vlogging. And you're like, well, what is that? Well, we sort of invented it. The medium that reaches people the quickest and the easiest today is short videos. Vlogger is someone who regularly puts videos on their YouTube channel. We put out a video every week, sometimes more. Actually, it's been 3 years. We have over 300 videos on our channel. We call ourselves 5 Minutes of Fergie, sharing our day-to-day life. Some of them are much more missions focused. Some of them are much more baby focused for grandma. These videos let people peek into our daily life, which I feel like where missions is headed, supporters want to be more personally involved. They want to get to know you. Like the people who are praying for us, how are they going to pray for us if they only get an annual newsletter? If they're getting something every week and they're like, oh, look at that. Jessica just hit her head. She's sick this week. Let me pray for that. What's going on with our daily lives. And I think it's a super powerful tool. In the next 10, 15 years, I think there'll be other people who do this. I hope so. A big part of missions is our roots are so deeply set in Jesus that when he says go, we're going with him. Our roots aren't changing because our roots are not in this world. Our roots are not in a location. So God has called us to Brazil. Right now we are serving in Brazil. And if tomorrow we wake up and feel that God is calling us to Peru, then that is what we will start working towards, where we will change our focus, where we will go. Missions is following Christ, where he calls us, is following him. Sharing Jesus is our mission. But how that works out practically, that mission that we are doing, specifically our corner of the world, is what we need to share, and to share effectively. Selling the idea of why is what I do important and valuable and worth your time and resources and prayers. That you need 3 specific ways to share your mission. You need to be able to have like the movie poster view of your mission, the movie trailer view of your mission, and then the actual movie of your mission. So like the movie poster, so like just like a one hit, they call it an elevator pitch. You know, what could you share to someone when you're going up in an elevator? And the thing that we've really found that works for us is prayer cards, but we've actually used business cards as a prayer card, because really that directs you probably to our website, to the YouTube channel. Second, like a movie trailer. Ours is pretty literally like a movie trailer. We have like a little introduction to us on our YouTube channel. It's like a 1 minute, we are the Fergusons, or a newsletter. We do e-newsletters, but those different things where you have more information, but it's not like the person is like sitting down. So that would be the third thing, where you have a personal meeting, you have time to sit down and talk, or actually it could be like your website, because that tells the whole story. Hopefully. I've put together a list of some resources. I've listed it below for you because it's hard to just get it quickly in a video. So there's a lot, not a little, of what missions means to me and what God has done in my life through missions.